Hey there, it's Quinn with PTSD while black, and happy Halloweeny. It's almost time. I'm getting ready to go out, so I'm have a busy day today. So I was like, let me check in on this message because it was so juicy when I heard it in the meeting today. Talking about how gang stalking tries to control us, how people who envy us may try to control us, or people who situations that try to diminish us may try to control how we think about ourselves, what we think we can do, what we have access to, what our resources might be. Hey there. So it's really looking at, yep, that exists. It wants to do what it wants to do, and I have to keep the focus on me, kind of thing. Um, and it was just so beautiful how it was brought up in a meeting today about detachment, learning to detach from someone else's abusive behavior and that they don't have the resources that they need to be a full, loving, emotional, caring person. And for those people who choose to get into gang stalking, I think that is it. They're trying to, get worth and value in some sort of way by trying to have control over someone else or to be seen as significant to a leader, to someone who's enforcing this behavior. So what we have as options of for those of us on the receiving end of this is we have this ability to validate ourselves. It's just like knowing that I live in a place where there are snakes and they're poisonous. Okay, so I might want to wear some high level boots, for example, or to be more cautious when I'm going near underbrush, things like that. And it's the same thing with regards to these stalkers. Is that I have a responsibility for me. It doesn't mean I never go out of the house. It doesn't mean that I stop doing what I do, but instead that I just keep the focus on, okay, if I'm going to do what I need to do, I just need to know that exists. And for me, one of the big lessons that I'm learning is around accepting that things like um, I have PTSD, that racism does exist, that sexism exists, ableism exists, and that I'm going to feel some kind of way about it. But my trying to force the other person to change isn't going to do a whole lot because they're in the position that they're in. They have every right to be in the position that they're in, even if it's hurtful. But I don't have to tolerate that pain. I don't have to put myself in spaces where pain is happening. Um, so yeah, that was one thing that was coming up. And another thing too about doing things differently for me was I'm gonna let my fat jiggle, by the way. This is Wendy. Boop, boop. This is Wanda. Bop bop. Anyway, um, it's learning that I have an ability to take care of who I am and what my needs are without regards to limitations that are really being set by others. So I thought that was a really, really interesting process. Um, yeah. I also turned on the camera because I was gonna do my makeup and I'm like, I don't want to look for a mirror. Baby girl is multitasking today a little too much. Anyway, the other thing though, that this is really my part in the process. I'm glad I can look at, am I honoring my needs? Am I honoring my boundaries? Am I honoring my feelings? Because those things are all my responsibility. They're not the responsibilities of the gang stalkers, and it's not my job to convince the gang stalkers that I have feelings or needs. I can accept that they're not going to see it, just like I can accept that a racist Klans member is not going to see me as a human being because I'm black. I can just accept that's how they are, and that's how I have to view these people. That a rapist will just see me as someone that they can have access to, that I have no say. So, whoop, you're rapists, gang stalkers, racists, you're all the same for me. All the same, in the same category. It's that I don't need to convince them of anything. I do need to look and go, okay, is this a safe place for me? What do I need to be safe? And what I can do for me to be safe, and I offer this for you too, is to acknowledge our feelings. And that's what we're going to do here. Oh, by the way, if I didn't do the disclaimer, this is my personal vlog. And you may be uncomfortable here, and that's okay. Get used to being uncomfortable because my life is learned discomfort. Anyway, the reading that happened, I'm just going to read this. It says, I recently had an argument with someone I care about. He had made all too publicly a few remarks to me about my weight, and I was less than pleased. Later, when I told him my feelings were hurt, he insisted he had done nothing wrong, that what he had said was true, so I shouldn't take offense. How often have I justified my own unkindness or my interfering where I had no business with that very argument? Too many times, especially during um, my addicted loved ones acting out. After all, I claimed I was right. Their addiction was ruining our lives, and it was my duty to say so again and again and again. I'm learning to let go of my certainty about what other people should do. In program, I heard someone put it this way: I can be right or I can be happy. I don't have to make anyone over in my image. With help, I can live and let live. And that's one thing that I've been doing wrong is that I'm trying to make rapists, gang stalkers, and racists over in my image as someone who is considerate, compassionate, um, who takes accountability for their own emotions and their own behaviors. I can't do that. And so, but yet I'm going to harp on it again and again and again. So if I want to be happy, because I can be right or I can be happy, I can know that I'm right, but I can be happy, I've got to protect my peace. My peace has to be a priority. And I was like, oh, wow. My peace looks like being calm, being ready and able just to snuggle up with my husband, to play with my cat, to really sit down and write about my emotions, to feel them out. And that's kind of what I have a responsibility to do. So I'm like, okay, protecting my peace is I'm probably going to stop going public here with my videos, but I'll just do them like locally on my camcorder, so that I can protect my peace because I know the racists are using this right now as a reason to, whoa, whatever. But I don't have to harp and tell them they're wrong again and again. I don't. I need to prioritize my peace, my well being. So that means going in spaces where I am welcomed and invited, where people want to see me shine, where I want to see other people shine and to be vibrant. So I think I'm going to go do that. I think I'm going to go do that. But to look at where am I being insensitive? Because I'm recognizing that these individuals who have these limitations, um, they're just like sick people. Someone who is sick, I wouldn't go and go, ew, you've got cooties. Ew, you should have covered your mouth when you cough, blah, 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 blah. And now this is why you're sick. It's not going to help somebody get better. It's not. And so that's where I have to look at my behavior in this whole entire process. How do I contribute to the dysfunction? Instead of just telling them, ew, you're sick, ew, you're dysfunctional, I can just go wear a mask for myself if I'm in that space. I can limit my contact with these individuals, and I can put an emphasis on just honoring my own well-being. I can take my vitamin C. I can do the things that improve my own immunity. And so when I'm dealing with gang stalkers, when I'm dealing with racists, that's what I'm really dealing with right now. My own immunity, boosting my immunity is affirming what it's like to be someone who's Black, someone who's differently able, to be a woman of color, to own my reality and to not expect anybody else to see it any differently. I should go as a Black Barbie. I just thought I'm going to just do something with this pink and make a crown. I have a balloon gig to go to, and I'm recognizing that I'm going to be a balloon artist. That's what I'm going to be. But yes, I'm going to be a balloon artist. I'm going to be who I am and do what I do. I'm going to be a hypnotherapist. I'm going to work to make my communities places where people can heal, where people can feel safe and supported, instead of limiting myself in reaction to the trauma that's being present in my life. What a concept, right? What an idea. Um, so I'm really grateful that I'm getting this opportunity to really show up instead of being in reaction to. It's like for Black people, for us to choose to go, the white man does this, the white man does that, the white man, yeah, we know is true. It's just that the white man never acknowledges that they do it. And that's why we feel like we got to keep repeating it. Instead, it's like, yep, this does happen. Yes, this does limit my life. And I'm still awesome. And I still have these skills. And I still have these abilities. And I have an amazing community. And I can grow. And I can teach younger children how to love and respect themselves. It's accepting the reality that both exist versus just we don't ignore the pain. We don't ignore the limitations. We acknowledge that they exist, and we continue to choose to move forward in our lives because we validate ourselves that this is my reality. It is limiting. I don't like it. I feel this way about it. I have these needs around it. Here are some, how am I going to get those needs met? Well, here are some ways to get those needs met within my community or with safe people who are allies. So these are choices that we have. These are choices. We're never limited by someone else's idiotic behavior. There's always a choice, and I forget that sometimes. Trauma informs me into thinking that I don't have choices, but I do. I have lots of choices. I have lots of people that I can be safe with. I have lots of things that I can do to make my world a better place, and I can show up as a whole individual in these spaces. So it's, I have choices, and it's just where do I choose to put my focus? And so I offer this for you as well when you're dealing with the gang stalking. It sucks. You don't like it. It's not right. It hurts. You feel this way about it. And at the same time, what you can do is validate your reality and look at what you can do in your community. That's not in response to the gang stalking itself, but just knowing that you're a whole goddamn person with worth, with value, with something to offer in the world, that you have dreams, that you have values, you have goals, and that you want to be around people who will support those dreams, values, and goals. And that's what I do. And, you know, we can send ideas of healing to the institutions and individuals who choose to participate in toxic behavior, but we don't have to be responsible for making them understand that they are toxic. It's not our job. It is our job to speak to our needs. And we can go from there. All right, till next time. Peace. Oh, there's